dive in. Let's start with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Ja. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 2, text 18. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharat. Let's read the purport. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. So the intention is, the Krishna is saying that आज नहीं तो कल इनको मरना ही है, तो आज ही सही. It is a question of time only. Yes. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity as he cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. Yes, ना ही तो आप बॉडी को indefinite period टाइम के लिए रख सकते हो, ना ही तो आप सोल को डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकते हो. So Hiranyakashipu, if you remember, he wanted immortality from Brahmadev. You know, when he did all the tapas and everything, he wanted the vardhan that I should be immortal. But Brahmadev, who is the creator of this entire material world, was not in the position to grant him that, because Brahmadev himself is going to perish one day, because anything which is a part of your material world, and Brahmadev, Shiv, everybody is part of material world. They manage, like you can say, they are like the managers of the material world who get the direction from the Lord. All of them are going to perish one day. So even if you are and even if you are a demigod, you are going to perish. Let alone the human beings, you know. So as mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity as he is cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work. Yes. Whatever work, whatever actions, understand, whatever actions you take, whatever actions you happen to do, decides what kind of body you will get into in your next birth. Soul remains the same. So soul will decide what kind of material body you will attain in your next life. And therefore, observance of religious principles should be utilized. Yes, we should use Bhagwat Geeta for this purpose. In the Vedanta Sutras, the living entities is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of this material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. Yes. So he's trying to show that why this body is not important. Because it is going to decompose one day, and today it has its identity because it has the soul. Arjun was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations. Yes. Now his duty was to fight, and so he should not back back down from his duties, because the duties are mindful, and you need courage to do your duties, and this courage is what this soul gives you. So soul will remember that you have done these duties, you have done these things, and accordingly in the next body it will decide. Text 19. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Yes. Let's read the purport. When an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as it will be evident from subsequent verses. Nor is the living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed or is supposed to be killed is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. Yes, you should only kill when it is the duty to kill, right? So it is all layered that way. It doesn't mean that you keep killing the body so that you keep attaining new. No, that's not the way. The Vedic injunction is Ma hinshyat sarva bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. Nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Yes? Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of the state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjun, however, is being engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically. Yes, वो ऐसे ही नहीं जाके मार रहा है सबको, वो मार रहा है क्योंकि वहां पे एक भेद हुआ है. There is a cause to it, and they have both reached to a fight. There is something that they are fighting for. There's a cause. It's not just he loves to kill people. जैसे हम लोग hunting के लिए जाते हैं. Hunting is prohibited. Hunting is abominable because you are hunting for your pleasure. You are hunting to satisfy your senses. That is taste. So that is abominable activity, and it is punishable. Maybe hunting an animal is not as punishable as hunting a man. But hunting an animal or killing any animal for self gratification is punishable by Lord. Let's move to text 20. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not, and will and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Yes. Let's read the purport. It's a long one. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady or kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. Understand, 6 kinds of transformation. It takes its birth, Body takes birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. Yes? The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Yes. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old as the body does. So when they say now, I you you are forever young. So they are meaning that of course by body you will become old, but by mind with your soul you will remain young. You should remain young. Yes. The so-called old man therefore feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. Yes. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. Yes, yes. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the six changes of the body. Yes. So when you give birth to another human body, it is not your soul which is going to that human body. It is a new soul. It is a different soul than yours. That's why our children are so different from us. So there is no dividing the soul, and that's why that soul goes to this body, and now the no, that's not the case. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the six changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad 1.2.18, we also find a similar passage which reads Na jayante mriyate va vipashkin nayam कुटस्किन न बभूव कश्चित अजो नित्य शश्वतो यम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in the Bhagwat Geeta. But here, in this verse, there is one special word, that is vipaschit, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart, where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of the consciousness. Yes. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to the clouds or for some other reason. But the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme, because Supreme consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to forgetful. Yes, it's prone to be forgetful. Yes, when he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education, enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teaching of Bhagwat Geeta would be useless. Yes, that we all agree. There are two kinds of souls. As you know, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, you will find this two kinds, two kinds of people, two kinds of souls, two kind of situations. Okay, so now there are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, that is Anuatma, and the super soul, that is Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.20 in this way, in quotes, both the super soul, that is Paramatma, and the atomic soul, that is Jivatma, are situated on the same tree of the body, within the same heart of the living entity, and only one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Yes. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as it will be disclosed in the following chapter, and Arjun is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Yes. Let's move to text 21. O Parth, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Let's read the purpose. So, this is like a rhetoric question to Arjun. Everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the persons in knowledge. Yes, you always will have two options, no? Whether to do or not to do, whether to do right or to do wrong, right? So it always depends on the choice that you make, and the choice will always come from the knowledge that you have. If you don't know only, how will you make the choice? And if whatever, with whatever you know, if you make a choice, how can you say it will be right or wrong? If you feel it is going to be right, it is the right choice, how will you know that such a choice will prove to be right? So there is layers, and all the layers reach how much knowledge you have. Although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, फांसी लगती है murderers को, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the codes of justice. Yes. In Manusmriti Samhita, the law book of mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. You see the logic? This is like a whole new perspective. So there was this, I remember there was this professor in JBIMS finance. He would say that if you he would say if you want to uh, what do you say, if you want to uh, अगर आपको अपने पाप मिटाने हैं तो आपको खुदकुशी करनी चाहिए. यू शुड बी किल्ड. ओनली देन आपके सब पाप धुल जाएंगे. So I just remembered that with this dialogue, with this verse, this purport. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice, and thus Arjun should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate, the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So, for the administration of justice, so called violence is permitted. Yes. If you want to fight for justice, then violence is permitted, not, but no, in the sense that you're fighting for a cause. Because as it is, once you kill the person or once you have won and the other person has lost, the other person is going to realize that this doesn't work and it is better. It will give them a growth. In this case, after getting killed, the soul will reach its next destination. Yes, so there is growth. And in terms where there is no killing and all, when somebody loses, the person will realize that this is wrong. And that's why he lost. For example, you lost the case. So now you know why you lost the case, because you have kept arguing, speculating, this, that. But the final order is order. You have to accept it. So the acceptance comes. So, so acceptance is also a big growth. Yes, spiritual growth. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient, but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjun at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge. So there is no possibility of sinful reaction. Yes. Let's let's move to text 22. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Yes. Let's read the purport. So the characteristic of the body or the soul is also important to understand, which we will understand in the next chapter. But it is so important to also maintain the body so that we can follow the instructions of our soul. That's why we focus so much on health. That we will realize now. Let's read the purport. Change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, has to accept continuous changes of body which appear from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of super soul. Yes. Now in soul also there are two, Jivatma and Paramatma. Yes. The super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. For example, when a person, many a times we have seen this, when a person dies of desiring to be so and so, we have examples where the person has taken the new birth, and become that thing. Like there was this, my nani was there. She wanted to take, with, to play with her eldest son. She was so attached to him. And yes, there was a girl born in my mamaji's house, and she until 2 years she had all the characteristics of my nani, and she would even call out to my Mamaji by name, the way my Nani used to call her. So it was very, very this thing, surprising that, oh, and we all used to say, our Nani has taken new birth because the soul, that same soul has come back again in the same family. So the super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Mundaka Upanishad, as well as the Shweta Shwatara Upanishad, compare the soul and the super soul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and the Arjun is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and the other is the servant. Yes. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing is his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. When we forget our friend, when we forget our consciousness and we start acting without vigilance of this conscious friend, it is bound that we will take rebirth, and this cycle of birth and death will not cease until we start following the instructions of our super soul, that is our consciousness. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, when I accept my own consciousness, my own mind as above me, and I start obeying what my subconscious or conscious mind keeps telling me to do, and I stop dominating it, I will definitely reach. Uh, uh, I will definitely grow spiritually and definitely reach a point where I don't have to take birth anymore. You know? As Arjun agreed to do by voluntary surrender unto Krishna for instructions, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundaka Upanishad and Shweta Shwatara Upanishad confirms this. Although the two birds, in quotes, although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. So anxiety and moroseness of, so whenever you eat something, it will have some effect on you. Where whatever you do will has an effect. If you eat a grape, it will have a different effect on you. If you eat a chocolate, it will have a different effect on you. Correct? But everything will have an effect on you. Correct? So similarly, you will keep experiencing these effects. Yes? But if in some way or the other he turns his face to his friend, the Lord, and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxiety. At once you will not feel like eating more or eating this or eating that. And since you will not feel like eating, you will not receive any effects from it. And so you will that is basically you will get free from all the lamentations, all the anxieties. Yes. Quotes close. Arjun has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagwat Geeta from him. Yeah. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Who doesn't want to be free from lamentation? क्या होता है lamentation? अरे यार मुझे इतना दूर जाना है, अरे मुझे इतना ट्रैवल करना है, अरे मुझे अभी ये जॉब का ये काम फिनिश करना है, अरे अभी मुझे उसको कॉल करके बताना पड़ेगा. ये सब lamentation होता है. That you are cribbing, you know, you are just feeling lazy to do. That's why you're cribbing or you are tired. मैं बोलती हूँ टायर्डनेस ना, आई एम टेलिंग यू टायर्डनेस इज द स्टेट ऑफ माइंड. You can never be tired because soul never gets tired. Body doesn't get tired. Body will get tired if the soul thinks that body is tired. We are tired. तुम्हें भूख भी तभी लगेगी जब तुम सोचोगे कि हाँ मुझे ब्रेकफास्ट करना है. सोचो तुम एक दिन ऐसे ही फास्टिंग कैसे होती है? हाउ आर वी एबल टू सस्टेन फास्टिंग? वो कंट्रोल है. वो इतना हमने सरेंडर में है हम. सरेंडर इज हायर देन द विशेस, द डिजायर्स. When you live in surrenders, your desires become lower and lower and lower because you start accepting what is there in front of you. आज सिर्फ एप्पल मिला खाने को तो मजे से खाया, वाह आज एप्पल तो मिला, भगवान ने दिया. हमेशा हमेशा खाने के लिए या कपड़े पहनने या कुछ भी आप बॉडी को कोई भी ग्रेटिफिकेशन आपको मिलती है अपने सेंसेस को अच्छा फील करने के लिए, अच्छा म्यूजिक सुनते हो, हमेशा थैंक गॉड कि आज मैंने अच्छा म्यूजिक सुना, आज मैंने कुछ अच्छा देखा, आज मैंने कुछ अच्छा खाया, टेस्ट किया, आज मैंने कुछ अच्छा फील किया. हमेशा भगवान को थैंक करो क्योंकि ये तुम्हें दिया गया है, ये तुम्हारा है नहीं. करेक्ट. Arjun is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. जो अन्याय इनजस्टिस जो इन लोगों ने किए हैं, दुर्योधन, भीष्म, जो भी इन्होंने बिहेव किया है, कॉन्डक्ट किया है, उसका उसमें से वो पाप से बाहर निकलने के लिए तुम्हारा उनको मारना जरूरी है, नहीं तो वो नहीं निकल पाएंगे. सो व्हाट इज बेटर टू किल देम और नॉट टू किल? और ये कौन बता सकता है कि तो ही वो बाहर निकल पाएंगे? ये भगवान ही बता सकते हैं, राइट? ये वैदिक लिटरेचर ही बता सकता है, ये भगवान ही बता सकते हैं, और फिर भगवान को ही सब पता है. ही इज एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ because he knows past, present, future. He already has. हमने we read in the first chapter that he's already see or killed them in their mind. In his mind, he's already killed them. Krishna has already killed all of them. Krishna has already seen the victory. But everything can change with one choice of Arjun. If he doesn't choose to fight, Krishna has to find another way to kill them. But killing तो होनी है, ठीक है? बट ये पुण्य अर्जुन को मिलेगा कि उन्होंने इनको तार दिया अपनी गलत गलत एक्शंस की वजह से, राइट? अर्जुन इज एडवाइज हियर विद बाय द लॉर्ड not to lament for the bodily change of his grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So, there was no cause for Arjun's lamentation. Yes. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha.